Hello.
On behalf of Maharaja Agrasen Institute of Management Studies, Department of Law, I, Vidhi Gupta, and I, Ritika Bansal, take the pleasure to welcome you all to the World IPR Day celebration 2023. The theme for World IPR Day 2023 is Women and IP, Accelerating Innovation and Creativity. As we know, intellectual property rights are significant for promoting innovation and creativity in our society. They protect the rights of creators, inventors, and innovators. They also encourage them to continue their work for future products. Professor Detail IIT University, Professor Dr. Rajni, Director MAIMS, Head of Department, Dr. Praveer Kumar Gupta, Department of Law, Heads of all other departments, faculty members, and students. We welcome you all. Now, we would like to apprise you of the various activities and programs that have been organized by the Department of Law MAIMS in the field of IPR. We would like to present a small video representation of the same.
This provides exclusive rights to the owners of these fields, allowing them to control their use and commercial exploitation. It is due to this reason that the Department of Law, Maharaja in 2020, a workshop on IPR and traditional knowledge, contemporary issues and challenges was organized. The first session of the workshop was chaired by Dr. K.S. Karman, the Senior Joint Controller of Patents and Trademarks, elaborated on the recognition of IPR and its history. Thereupon, Dr. Kirodia talked about traditional economic knowledge, sustainable development, and linked it with B10 piracy.
Second, Saraswati, and we humbly request our dignitaries to please take their seats on the stage. a big round of applause, please. Maharaja Agrasen Institute of Management Studies was established in the year 2017 and ranks amongst the top 2 institutions of Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth University. It aims in providing and bringing betterment of education in our society and aims to bring betterment to the society by its study methods and various dynamics. It is our pleasure to introduce Dr. Professor Rajni Malhotra Dekra, Director, MAIMS, who has been an instrumental figure in shaping the institution into a center of academic excellence. Ma'am has an experience of teaching in law for more than 2 decades. Her areas of specialization are law of contracts and property law. She has many published articles in national and international journals to her credit. Ma'am has also authored 6 books in the areas of contract, property law, marginalized groups, and human rights. Recently, Ma'am has also been honoured by Pradhanacharya Shiksha's Ratan Samman by Bharat Vikas Parishad in 2022. We request Ma'am to kindly deliver the eloge.
Good morning to everybody. So I welcome Dr. Lisa, who spared her valuable time to interact with you people, to provide knowledge to you, because she is really busy. She has one engagement in the evening, and then tomorrow also she has to address one session. So I thank you, ma'am, and that you spared your valuable time for us. I also welcome Dr. Sudhir Kochalji, who is a very senior person in IPR and who has spared his valuable time to address you people. Welcome, sir. And I also thank you people, and especially the in charge of IPR Center, to organize this function, because it's your commitment. It was told to me that this initiative is from the side of the students. Yesterday also you attended one event where Ms. Pooja Kumar has addressed you, and the same commitment has shown for this day also. So big congratulations to you, and I welcome you all for this session. So as it has highlighted in the video that IPR is the oil of the 21st century. So it's very, very important to understand the nitty-gritty of this particular aspect. But in the same way, there are very less women who are the inventors or who has get the patent filed in her name. I was searching, because I have to give the welcome address, I was searching on the internet to find out that how many women inventors are there from India or from the entire world. But very less information I was able to get. So I just want to check if you can recall the name of any inventor, male inventor. Can you give me the name of any male inventor? Yes? Because you are a student of IPR, you must know this. Because if you don't know this question, then the next question will be meaningless.
Yes, come on, Bilal.
Wright brothers.
Wright brothers have invented watch.
Graham Bell. Any other?
And the light.
Edison. Now, if I say, I am able to get 4 or 5 responses at least. But if I ask you, give me the name of the women inventors.
I told you a story, Mary.
Any other? So, any other? compare with the given audience, if I compare the responses, 4-5 names you have given, if I have asked that give me the name of the women inventors, and only one response when I ask this question that give me the name of the female inventors. It means female inventors can be counted on fingers, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 or 20, maybe more than, because Lisa ma'am will put light on this. But my question is, or my point is, that there are very less women, although in IPR sector, as in the education sector, we can see many females. But when the question comes to the science and technology and to the patent and other inventions, the role of women has been less recognized. I am not saying that they are not working, but their role is less recognized. Maybe because of the less knowledge. I was reading yesterday that traditional knowledge, although they are in paintings and they are in embroidery kind of thing, but their work has not been recognized. Although GI has been given, but still we can't say that this person has invented or this particular thing has been protected under this person name. So recognition is less. Work is there, but recognition is less. So now today we will delve on this issue, that what is the role of women and IP, and how IP can protect, IP protection if given to the women can help them grow further. So this is the theme of the day, and now Miss Lisa and Dr. Sudhir Kochar will put more light on this. So I welcome once again to all of you, and I hope that this session will be very, very meaningful for you. Thank you.
Dr. Sudhir Kochar has done his PhD in plant breeding from Punjab Agricultural University, Ludhiana. He is retired ARS and former ADG in IPR and National Coordinator for any IP. Sir has a rich diverse experience of over 40 years in research, coordination and policy perspective in the Indian Council of Agricultural Research. He is a much-travelled resource person in 13 countries for reorientation with IPR, genetic resource management and policy areas. Dr. Sudhir Kochar is well-trained in Indian parliamentary processes and procedures from BPST, now PRIDE, UPOV trainers trainer from the Global Intellectual Property Academy, USA, international intern for IP management and tech transfer from Michigan State University, USA, and trained in PVP, PBR from PRI, the Netherlands, and NCSS, Tsukuba MAFF, Tokyo, Japan. He has made salient backdrop contributions in the enactment of PPV and FR Bill 1999 and the Biodiversity Bill 2000 in the concerned ministries and joint parliamentary committees, and for the amendments in the Patent Amendments Act 1999, 2002, 2005 through departmental comments on cabinet notes, besides the Plant Act 1976 and GMO Bill 2002 of Republic of Mauritius. Dr. Kochar convened the development of ICAR's IP Management and Tech Transfer Commercialization Guidelines 2006. He headed IPR unit ICAR briefly in its foundation state as ADG IPR and as National Coordinator Basic and Strategic Research under the Mega National Agricultural Innovation Project, and he was instrumental in developing the research consortium culture involving ICAR universities, IITs, IISCs that yielded 85% applications from co-inventors and many other IPR claims and quality international publications. Dr. Kochar was the guest editor for a special volume of Journal of Intellectual Property Rights, JIPR, March 2011, issue on IPR in agriculture, and another special volume of Indian farming dedicated to NAIP research. He has published a dedicated my-page food front for India in Agriculture Today magazine, May 2019 to Feb 2020. Issues covering the policy and IPR areas concerning agricultural diversity and management. He has amply contributed as member National Biodiversity Authorities Committee on Agro-Biodiversity as amicus curiae under the
Biological Diversity Act 2002 for over 9 years. He has provided international consultancy on IPR and policy to IFPRI, APARI, and Alliance for Biodiversity International and CIAT of CGIAR. He was delegate in the 9th governing body of International Treaty on PGRFA and recently attended online meetings of the Committee on World Food Security of UNFAO. Dr. Kocher has contributed in many faculty and executive training programs and has been invited as faculty for LLM, PGDM in IPR in plant varieties and patenting in agricultural fields. We now request Sir to address the gathering. Please, Sir.
Thank you so much for the kind introduction. Good morning to all. Dr. Lisa, Isha, other faculty. Sorry, I don't know the names at this stage. Very first thing, patently I was incorrect today when I reached late and when you waiting. But at the same time, we can show great faces always. Excuses, I think you will appreciate that because in the learning process we will try to learn from each other. So this year's theme for the Intellectual Property Rights Day, which is celebrated since 2000 at the instance of the World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO of Geneva, just to give awareness and enthusiasm. It's a type of celebration that you can see in every nook and corner of the world. And the theme will change every year. Last year the theme was on youth and IP, and this year the theme is on women and IP, and accelerating innovation and creativity. So again, going by the TRIPS agreement, there are 7 forms of intellectual property rights. So it's not only patents that you have to worry about. Everything that you do constructively and make even a para out of it, it is your property as copyright, even without registering it. So if you have to prepare yourself in the area of intellectual property rights, you have to be on the solid footing and solid foundation on that count. Maharaja, she prompted me to prepare something related to the theme of this year. So I have just made a modest attempt to share some of the things on which I was concerned. So you will see in the presentation. And for Food Front of India, it is already dark that there was one my-page series of presentations that I have made as 2-page, 3-page publications in the monthly numbers of agriculture today from the year May 2019 to February 2020. Some 10 you can say pieces are there. You can see that. And the second one is hashtag sociological permeability. Now sociological permeability is a part which is very, very significant with relation to that. Yeah, it is there in the bottom end of the sociological permeability, that's what I am saying. And what it means, the knowledge is what you can imbibe. The knowledge is which is a free flow. So unless until something is in the common domain and it is accessible to you and accessible free of charge, and then you can construct anything on it, and if required you can do business in that, and for that you can earn a property right which is an intellectual property right through legal means, up to that much. So it's a school of management, of course the Department of Law there is a saying, those who can do. So first stage is entrepreneurship. So the entrepreneurial bent is that you must do, and you should be alert, and you should be concerned, and you should be correlated with your business in doing that business, in to get the best benefit out of it and to give the best benefit to the society out of the products that you are marketing and the things like that. In the same quotation, the second part is those who can't teach. And we are here to prompt you, please learn who has invented what. Okay? Sometimes we make you laugh at ourselves so that you understand better. I remember my pre-university days, our English teacher Chandra Prakash Putlani, in the hostel, students of previous year, senior students, they would used to tell us what he has told you today is this much, and tomorrow he will tell this much, and we used to laugh over it. But next day when he used to tell, he was having so mesmerizing personality that we tended to learn much more out of it, even if we have laughed the last day in the hostel. So second category is teachers. And even in army, if you say the trainer's trainer, Havaldar major, is more respectable guy to a major to whom he has trained. So these are some of the things in the learning processes you have to learn. And the third category, which I am setting here, goes in for research. So I am neither an entrepreneur here in this group nor a teacher by dint of saying that I am a teacher, formal teacher, but I am a researcher and trying to bridge the gaps whichever we can in the learning process. So people generally think that we talk of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam as Indians and think that all universe belongs to one family and everything is available for free ride for everyone upon us, but that's not the case. If you see our scriptures, then there will be certain things. These are the golden words that from Sanskrit Hitopadesh, Vidya Dadati Vinayam, Vinyatyati Patrakam, Patrakam Dhanamapnoti, Dhanat Dharmam Tadat Sukham. So means from knowledge you get prudence, and from prudence worthiness. From worthiness you get wealth, and from wealth righteousness. Dharmam doesn't mean that it is the fanaticism. Dharma means righteousness also, the way to project yourself in the society with all your earnestness, and from that well-being, the Sukha. So this is Uma Saraswati, and this is beginning for the theme of today's IP celebration. So I have already told you this World Intellectual Property Organization is the organization who brought Intellectual Property Day into limelight by deciding it, discussing it in 1999 and deciding in 2000, and then that's how it started. But World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO itself came into existence on the same day in 1970. So there is a tendency to simplify and try to reach every nook and corner of the world with the basic clarifications on intellectual property rights, British knowledge, and so on through WIPO, just like in trade it is WTO, in intellectual property rights it's WIPO. Now, the first citizen of India, creativity and intellect and all. He is also a learned, you can say, person from the legal stream. She is a tribal by origin. She has been there in the, you can say, War Plains recently. This Ashok Chakra at the back is telling the area, geographical area to which she belongs, to the land of Ashoka. and this perpetual wheel is a part of our national flag. So we give our tributes to, because that dynamism, sometimes many things don't come at the surface, but the decision making ultimately the chief executive of the sovereign of India is none else but the President of India. Others are councillors as far as the part explanation is concerned. When doing business, you know many of the things, the tricks of the trade, but unless until you know the frame very clearly, very potently, you cannot run your business beyond a certain threshold. So this understanding means if she is number one citizen of the country, she is to be respected first when we are talking of IP and creativity on this day. Dr. Rajendra Prasad was the first president of independent India, and he was a farmer. So first citizen of India, first farmer, and in his name we have got Krishi Bhavan, the place where the Indian Council of Agriculture Research is located. Of course, with now the change over in the central vista, some of these buildings will be demolished as new buildings will come. But first citizen has got his own importance, and he has got the guts to snub Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Some of you know about the dynamism of that first PM, but the President of India, when the time comes, he, just like even Modi sir told that Pranab Mukherjee was like a fatherly figure to him as President. So I have learned a lot from him. So President of India is at number one, and that's why this slide is dedicated to her. And this slide in the warplane has been dedicated because the next slide is the one that there is now a woman fighter pilot. I mean, she, while flying her helicopter at a time of the day when already dark had started and there was no other person to rescue, she went there and rescued 47 lives in one calamity in Madhya Pradesh, and recently she has got the first gallantry award in Indian Air Force. And that creativity of mind, that presence of mind and everything, because when we talk of intellectual property, the game of mind, presence of mind is very first thing to come. So as an innovator, if you precisely had to come to that point, she is the one. Shruti Babu, she is biomedical engineer from Coimbatore, and some of you who see this Shark Tank might have seen there on the TV. And she fetched 1 crore rupees from the Shark Tank. And her innovation was a wheelchair, smart wheelchair, cum stretcher, which was having also the self-cleaning commode and rechargeable battery. And she did start this activity with her father together, and he was prompting her a lot on that. The money that has come is from the Department of Biotechnology BIOT program to begin with. But what happened? She had some few number of prototypes, and when that prototype was about to, you can say, come into the real workable model, her father expired. And not even 1 week, within 3 days of his death, she had to come back to work, and she came with brave face to work, and she completed her model and brought this first workable model in the market to further tested and validated. So, in innovation, this disruptive innovation is what I have told you, and this outcome is to provide dignity to the people with mobility issues, particularly those ailing people. So, a lot of hats off to women on this day. Then these are some of the women pride achievers in biotechnology and IPR field. Mary Clinton, she is from Syngenta Biotechnology, USA, and she got the World Food Prize, jointly of course with the 2 male partners, and for the purpose of bringing GMO crops into the existence, and they have been marketed all over the world, but she is the one who got. Then Kiran Mazumdar, and if you go by the WIPO records, they say that she has revolutionized the fermentation technology for commercial applications. So earlier it was only tray-based fermentation, but what she did was a hard in itself, and you know about her company and the success. Then Dr. Manju Sharma, she came at a time as secretary of DPT when aura of Dr. Bhan was very difficult to forget. Dr. Bhan was a medical doctor and secretary in the DPT, and at that time, of course, she looked only very, you can say, insignificant person in the ministry because of his aura itself. But the way she organized the things brought the institutional reforms in the DPT and particularly on bioresources. And then Dr. Renu's, she transformed this BIREC program, and I have shown you in the previous slide that BIREC program has helped in bringing a very significant, you can say, innovation from a woman innovator. Now, Justice Pratibha Singh from the legal field, she is the one instrumented solely, or you can say single-handedly, in making all these laws related to, you can say, the rules related to the Delhi High Court Intellectual Property Rights Division. Once there was a transformation through ordinance from the appellate body to the, you can say, court system for the purpose of prosecution of grants and complaints on those grants by the others and things like that. So she is a notable person on this stage. Then I have given a few of the international inventors and innovators, and for that I must acknowledge Anuj Tiwari. He had given an article in India Times in 2021, and out of that I have selected a few, and one is about car heater, just circulating the air through the engine, and then it gets heated up, and then it circulates inside the car and heating process. And this is a patent number and all things are listed here. Then windshield wiper. She got stuck in the muddy road, and then she sat on herself with the application of her mind, and then she came up with the invention for wiper. And that's the thing women can do in IP. Then automatic dishwasher. So it was never there, but her Chinaware was very precious to her. So that is where she devised it. And then some of these machines designed at that time are still used in hotels in the USA even on this date. So this is important. All these things are listed here, and you can find it for. She was an actress, of the tinsel screen, but she was doing some work for the intelligence, and she had invented some frequency, radio frequency, which cannot be intercepted, so that any fire done by the torpedo, the enemy cannot detect so closely, even so closely, unless it has done its work. And then presently this Wi-Fi and GPS and Bluetooth have further come from her innovation, her invention. And this XX factor part, this which I have drawn below, it is also having in voice recording explained everything about her invention. You can search the, you can say, internet and find and listen to all the details about it. Now about this fire escape. So Anna, she has done this iron bridge so that there is a fire escape from behind the, you can say, bigger buildings, larger buildings. So in olden days, maybe even in Ghat place, you will see some of these, you can say, bridges which are iron, you can staircases outside the building. So that will be inside the enclosure, but it will not be seen in the market side of the Ghat place. Then Patricia Bath, her patent was on this method of and apparatus of abating and removing cataract lenses. So this also an invention in the medical field. So this also done by ladies. Then this syringe, earlier syringe had to be used by holding in two hands only, half part in one hand and half part in another, then connecting it, and then she was the one who invented this present syringe. Even roti maker, this robot, Rotimatic, this has been invented by an Indian couple led by a lady, Pranoti of course, and they are Singapore-based family. And I'm coming to the other side of it. Must hold your head high for a better survival of the fittest. And there is parts of the poem of Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore where mind is without fear and the head is held high, where the mind is led forward by deep into ever-widening thought and action. So this is our intellectual property. It is word IP day. I mean precisely it is not IPR day, and sometimes you may not be able to connect it with the rights actually provided, but then the intent for that. This slashing of two parts has been done by Ma Durga, and now it is up to the Pharaoh to think of Kashmir. Because if you go to Vaishno Devi, your visit to the shrine is not complete unless you go to Pharaoh, and he is doing his part. Okay, so you have to respect each and everyone, but with respect. You can murmur, you can laugh within yourself and in the hostels, but then there is a content which is elementary and intellect. And that is what you have to imbibe in the society. That is what sociological particularity is about. So this Stockholm Declaration 1972, Principle 2 and 4, these also talk of must preserve human habitats and ecosystems. So preservation of the human habitats in Kashmir and the ecosystem, including the biological diversity ecosystem of Kashmir, these are some of the things in my mind which I brought to prepare this slide. I am not a political person. I didn't want to bring Indira Gandhi into the core, but she is there always because the, you can say, slogan that she gave, Dur Drishti Kadi Mehnat Pakka Irada, that cannot be broken. That foresight in human minds comes to the mind of a lady. And lady is head of the house always. Then a lady, she knows she is not going to be there. I know I will not come back. This was the statement of Kalpana Chawla that didn't let her have to go to the space and do so many experiments for the welfare of humankind. And we go on this day to her memory as well. And finally, it is about the tradition knowledge of the cultures and communities which matters. And our culture and tradition knowledge says that ultimately it is none else but Ardhanareshwara. So there is male, there is female, and there is oneness at one stage which we can regain through the process of self-practice, the yoga, the dhyana, the understanding, whatever it is. So here it is not male chauvinism of the Trinity called Shiva, Vishnu, and who is the third? Shiva, Vishnu and Brahma. Okay. So one is the progenitor, the other is the maintainer, and the third one is the homogenizer and destroyer. No issue. I mean, of course, the things will come to mind only through judges. When it is there, not there in the open field, open mind, and these open mind discussions have to begin like this only. So there is a trinity of the female divinity called Ma Saraswati, Ma, you can say Lakshmi and Ma Vaishnavi, right? But then when you sit in Diwali Puja, it is first to be worshipped is none else but Lord Ganesha. So it is the relationship of you can say mother and son, which is the supreme. If at all you have to see how to take the things to a further lead. So at least there are two carry home messages from my today's discussions with you. One is do your management and business with utmost presence of mind. And second is enjoy the best of your life and living with most optimal peace of mind. I won't say that ideally it is available, but I am saying most optimal peace of mind. I mean, the purpose of West bringing the issue of gender inequality and so much hue and cry is because their peace of mind criteria are different than yours, than ours, right? We are not, I believe, able to get the state which Krishna wanted to tell, that don't touch a lady, but you can be there with her till eternity. So Radha and Krishna, right? So here also, please try to see, give respect to the female. And the main part for this actually, I had some questions laid out for you. I will not discuss, but what is intellect, what is IP, and what is IPR? So it's not a natural right. I think Professor Lisa will clear all these things, and it's a grant and in lieu of, you can say, the provision in an act, and for a particular jurisdiction, for a particular term period, and all the things like that. And why must link IPR to trade? Because the TRIPS agreement says we have signed TRIPS agreement of the WTO. It is trade-related aspects of intellectual property. So we are not emotionally discussing, merely discussing intellectual property rights. What is mindset, policy, guidelines, provision, whether to patent or publish first? These questions have come to your mind. So whenever you come, either you go to library and learn yourself, you ask questions through emails or through your teachers, to me or anyone. Then what is a free ride? Then what is infringement of a patent or IPR and how to snub it? Then is invention and innovation the same? It's different. But the part of it should be clear to you. So on one side, necessity is the mother of invention. On the other side, demand-driven, disruptive innovation. Means it is not the same. You are changing the set trend already to bring something more, some value, some commercial value to your product which you will be marketing through your intellectual property right, through your innovation. So that's all for today. I think I have taken more time than that, but thank you. Any question?
Any questions?
Or you can ask in the part also.
Yeah. The last you want?
Portion of Jammu and Kashmir. Can you just down over to that picture again? So this place where Jammu and Kashmir is displayed, it is mentioned time to use your IP here. So what message does it want to convey?
See, intellectual property must application of mind, how to resolve the situations here. So what government is trying, there is already foreign direct investment beginning in Jammu from the friendly countries, like in the Middle East it is already coming. And for the geographical indications, already this central area has been a heritage protected area described by the UNESCO, and of course FAO has also recognized that area. So there are certain things related to your own field which you can think of, then percolate there, mark it, make it connect, make them feel that they are more interactive and related. In 2009 I had written an article on Kashmir, that is Zabarwan, that hill which is above the Srinagar, it is called Zabarwan Hill, and I incidentally connected it to Shams Fakir, who is the person who is a poet from that area, and he tried to think of the harmony and across the you can say religions and all. So point is that if you have to uplift the sociological order itself, which has been already put to the back and of the stage since more than 75 years now already. Yes. So you have to apply your mind to, you have to apply your intellectual property, not that intellectual property, right? I am saying that property belongs to you, and you are intellect yourself. You are the ones who decide. You have to see how the friendship can be.
Is it possible without the use of force?
It's a part of the game. That's why I have brought this. Why this cutting was necessary. Why this cutting into two parts was necessary. So your answer is already there. Thank you.
For your valuable insights and for sharing your practical experience.
We extend a warm welcome to Professor Dr. Lisa P. Lopez. Professor Lisa P. Lopez is a professor in University School of Law and Legal Studies, Guru Gobind Singh University, Delhi. She is a gold medalist and first rank holder from University of Pune. She has received many accolades including Rashtrapati Award for Guides, the IPA International Award 2021 for Outstanding Researcher in Law, Global Faculty Award 2020, and Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan Distinguished Award in Intellectual Property Rights Law 2021. Professor Lopez is a Member Secretary of the Commonwealth Law Reform Commission, Honorary Director, Commonwealth Institute for Justice, Education and Research, and she has published over 9 books and 60 research articles on various.
Good morning everyone. How are you doing this morning? Good? Great? Okay. So, actually the welcome speech itself was a great introduction for today's theme. When Rajni ma'am asked you name male inventors, you had 6 inventors to name. And when she asked you to name female inventors, it was only Madam Curie that I could listen from the audience. And of course, when Sudhir sir was showing you more than 10 or 12 female inventors, how many of them you could know before attending this session? All of them? No. So a few of them. Kalpana Chawla you might have heard. So few of them you could hear. So of course, it was such a brilliant beginning, and I am very grateful to Rajni ma'am and also Nisha ma'am and also all the students of IPR who has arranged this program. It's a really wonderful event, a best way to commemorate and celebrate the World Intellectual Property Day in our own humble way that we can. And inviting Dr. Sudhir here because I have heard a lot about Dr. Sudhir Kochar, and for the first time I am meeting him and hearing him personally, otherwise through his articles I know him. So it was a great opportunity for me to meet you personally and hear you, and my gratitude to Maharaja Agrasen College for giving me this opportunity. So now moving forward, sir has told you about the importance of the theme. So last year, on the same date, we had celebrated Intellectual Property Rights Day here, and fortunately I could come here on that day also. So how many of you could attend that day? If you have attended on 2022 also, can you just raise your hand? No issues, I could not find even a single one. And do you know what theme of 2022 IPD? Very good. It was intellectual property and youth. Very vibrant topic. And this year we had intellectual property and women. As again, I would say that very apt topic. And sir has already said why this particular theme has taken. So it is to commemorate, it is to celebrate the contributions the women has given, women folk have given to intellectual property. But I would say celebrate and commemorate with quotation. Because it's doubtful what we have to celebrate, what we have to commemorate. Of course, though it is very meek and bleak their contributions in IP field, some contribution is there. But I don't find much to celebrate. I don't find much to commemorate. Because as I told you, the contribution is very, very negligible. I'm going to show you data that I could gather from various sources regarding the contribution of intellectual contributions in intellectual property ecosystem by women. So how many of you have heard about this IP gap by WIPO? So WIPO do you know, World Intellectual Property Organization, which administers all the treaties, and of course not only IPR students but everyone should know about WIPO. And how many of you have heard about IP gap? IP gap is a program that WIPO launched, Intellectual Property Gender Action Program. Okay, so wherein if you could read, I am not reading all the lines, if you could read, you can see that first aim is to create awareness. Awareness about what? The imbalances that you could find in intellectual property right. And can anyone here tell me what should be this imbalance that we are talking about? When we talk about gender parity, what will be the imbalance? Anyone? Do you believe that there is an imbalance in intellectual property ecosystem when we look at it from the gender perspective? Is it perfectly balanced? There is imbalance. When we say imbalance, what do you basically mean? So the women is getting less recognized, one aspect. Yes, any other thing that you want to add to this?
Recognition of the work, of their efforts.
Very good. Recognition of their efforts and recognition of their work by awarding them an intellectual property by way of patent or copyright or trademark, whatever way 7 kinds are was referring. Anything else? Opportunities. Very good. So that means lack of opportunities or equal opportunities they are not receiving. When I was listening to the very beautiful video where you depicted all your journey of the IPR center, I could see that you have used certain words. So the beginning point is a thought and an imagination. So if I say that in order to achieve that gender mainstream, women should have a thought and an imagination. From where she should get this thought and imagination? From where she should get? She should have an idea. Mind process. For that, what you need to have? An illiterate will be stimulated to get this? So usually a person who is unread, who is uneducated, who is illiterate have less chances of getting this wonderful imagination and ideas. So what you need to give them is knowledge and education. So I just cannot look at women innovation and creativity in isolation. Because it is a continuous process. If you don't educate your women, your girl children, if you don't train them properly, the women innovation and the women patenting will never happen. Will you agree with me? Yes. So with that idea, I am taking you to the next slide. So I told you I just cannot come into women and IP. So I am just preparing the background for that. If you can read this, the very recent statistics that talks about literacy rate in India, wherein we have 84.7% male literate people, we have it only 70% for the female literacy. This is a UNESCO report, and when it is 79 the global rate. And if I have to again look at the rural-urban divide, you can see that again a very negligible percentage of rural girls and women are getting educated. And I am looking at a very recent report published by Economic Times, March 7. This report I am borrowing from March 7 Economic Times, where it says, over the past 2 decades, India's female workforce workforce participation has witnessed a dip, with only 1 in 5 women working in formal workforce. See, I belong to Kerala. I can find that women are highly educated there, but they are not overwhelming to go to office. I find many of them housewives. They have doctorate, they have PGs, but they don't want to work. When I took admission in LLM, so I am not talking about science and technology now. When I took admission in LLM, there were 30 seats. And out of that 30 seats, we have 20 girl students. And out of that 20 girl students, I find 3 in actual officers or in actual workforce. Remaining all housewives enjoying 100% their wifehood and motherhood. They don't blame anyone, but because they have taken it for granted. Okay, we need education just to have the children to teach. It's not to earn, it's not to contribute, it's not for national development. So in many states where women are getting educated also, some deep-rooted stigma wherein they decide not to contribute economically, not to develop the nation. And I feel that a woman who is working, definitely her outlook and perspective will be developed. She will be economically independent. It's very important. Economically independent women will definitely raise the economic graph of the entire society and the entire country. And you can have you heard about the global gender gap? There is a global gender gap index, and I am so sad to say that out of 156 countries, our rank in the previous year was 140. Such a pity situation. And in 2022, wherein 146 countries were analyzed for this, our rank is 135. And there are certain indicators that will be analyzed for the purpose of giving this rank. And if I look at one single indicator, that is economic participation and opportunity. So he has rightly said, what are the impediments for women to come out with imagination and idea? He said opportunity. Yes, we need to give them opportunity. So when you look at this indicator, economic participation and opportunity, out of 146 countries, what was India's position? 143. And now I am taking you to the Gender Inequality Index, GII. This is being prepared by UNDP, and you can see that India's position is 122. And lastly, I am taking you to another index, the Human Development Index. Out of 191 countries, India stands at 132. Are you happy with this data? We are not happy. Because you know that in order to see a country's progress, you should know what is the education of the women there. So, and if we say that all progress we should begin by educating the women, because when girls are educated, you are educating not only a family, not only a society, but the entire generation. Keeping this in mind, this table you can easily see. So I have made a humble study in order to see what is the presence of women, what is the status of women in the India's workforce. So you can see that according to the World Bank data released in the previous year, in India the percentage of women workforce is only 19%. And today we are commemorating creativity and innovation. So creativity and innovation is mainly related to patents. So I am not undermining the importance of copyright, trademark, designs and GI, etc. And I have analyzed the top 10 R&D companies. The number 1 company is Glenmark. What is the percentage of women force there? 14.5. ISRO? And who doesn't want to join ISRO? It is a dream of every science student to join ISRO and contribute. 20%, and this is not only the scientists, including every staff, but only scientist data is not available. Infosys, wherein Sudha Krishnamurthy has done lot many effects to bring the women participation, more participation and emancipation, 39.6%. And I could find that the highest contribution of participation on the board by women there. And ICMR, I is missing, I am so sorry. ICMR is only 26%. Entire pharma industry, 11, life science 12. Why I am giving importance to life science? Because I could see that in every sector, if you analyze the women participation, the life science sector shows more participation and maximum participation by women. There itself, what is the maximum that we can show? 12%. And science researchers in India, so you could find a very great researcher here. And when you see the science researchers, it's 6.6%.
This was the data given by Honorable Minister in the last month in the Parliament when he was responding to a query on this. How many women researchers we have? Despite the fact that government has introduced program like WOSA. What is WOSA? Women scientists. So even if you have a break in your career, still government is giving a handholding. So even with that it is 6.6, which is much lower in advanced countries. And I could see that when you consider researchers, when you consider all other industry, the maximum women workforce you can find in universities and colleges and research labs. And what is at the maximum? I can show you 13%. And then you can see that IT 34 and first inventor in patents. Here I have to confess one thing to you. I could not find any government data. Myself and one of my scholars prepared an RTA last year and we sent to a patent office in order to find out how many patents women registered in India. Of course, that time even I was not knowing this year we are having women and IP. We did it for another purpose. And our RTA was answered. And what was their answer? We are sorry to say that we don't have a data for this. And I could find 3 private researches conducted by some advocates and some researchers. They were reading the patent journal. And from the patent journal they were reading how many times the women mentioned there. Women are mentioned as first inventor, lead inventor, second inventor or anyone in the inventing group. So on the basis of that, so research methodology is not perfect. You know that by doing this. So there they could find that it is only 5% anywhere mentioned in the women. And when we see the 2014 data, it was 0.05. So it gives up hope. At least the graph is improving. And in India, the facilitators and the patent agents, 10% women contribute to that. See, it's not only situation that you see in India. It is worse or it is same when we think about even developed world. I will show you data from US and European countries. So you can see that the disparities exist. Not only using intellectual property by women, creating and contributing to the innovation ecosystem. And you can see that there is, how many of you have studied patents or IPR? Can you just raise your hand?
Yes, sir.
Very good. So you can correlate the things that I am talking about. So when we talk about patents, Sam has given very beautiful questions to make you think and find answers. So you know that Indian patents are there, international patents are there. When we talk about international patents, though in every country you have to get it separately, still it has got an international patent filing system. You have your PCT and your international patent search. On the basis of that international patent filing, it's only 16.2 wherein women name is entered or women you can find as the inventor, lead inventor or the second inventor as the case may be. So if you only consider US patent, why I am talking about US? It is a dreamland for many and US patents are very easy to obtain. You apply in US and India, I am sure that you will get the first US patent and there is all chances that India it will be denied also. Because our patent criteria is very stringent. So Indian patents are respected worldwide. European Union patents are respected worldwide. But US patents are not respected that much. Though in NIR, ranking and all Indian teachers are running to get a US patent. But jokes apart, even with that, in US patent office you can see they have data. Only data you could find from a patent office is only from US. Wherein they have the women participation as inventor. 13%. There also only 13%. In UK it is 7%. See the last bullet point. More than 81% of the patents included no women. No is important. It included no women. And moving further, can you see this? Top 10 countries according to the WIPO data where women participation. So above 50 there is only one country. I know that none of you could believe that it is Cuba. I also read it 3 times. Is it Cuba? Yes, it is Cuba. Where you have 53%. Below you can see Philippines 38, Portugal 34, Romania, Spain, China, US, UK, Germany and Japan. Japan with 10%, even finding a place in the top 10. So the innovation gender gap when we talk about, I am talking from 3 aspects. One is education and training. So you rightly said knowledge, information and education. That is the starting point for innovation. If our girl children, your sister or your daughter after 5 or 6 years you also are going to get married. So sorry to say 5 or 6, maybe be next year also. I don't know your age. So don't be disappointed that I said 5 or 6. Okay, anytime. So it can be your daughters also, your sisters also, your cousins also, your friends, even your wife. I would say that everybody wants that. And as a woman, I always feel I should have a noble work, I should have a very good salary, I should support my family, I should be economically independent. So the same feeling every woman here shares. And you also will have the same feeling for your mother, sister and daughter, and for your wife and for your friend. So, how you will make them have this economic stability and the noble position, nobility in society. So, I classify it into 3. One is education and training. Second is the very process of innovation, and the third one is commercialization. So this selling the patent is very important. Entire patent is there to make money. So it gives you opportunity to recoup your economic investment and get a profit. So if I look at all these 3 stages, I have seen when I read the literature for this, women are sidelined everywhere, irrespective of the fact that it is the developed country or developing country or least developed country. No exception to any country. So you can see that my data shows me there is no problem in the elementary education. Boys and girls are getting equal education. And when you come to UG and PG, the women educating from UG and PG are much more than the boys in many countries. But you know that most of the time, especially in science and technology, it's not that easy to get a very good job with your only with MSc. So you need to go for a PhD. So the research, the PhD and postdoctorate, the moment we come there, there is a what you call the data is totally the opposite. So women are not admitted. Very rare chances they get to even to find scholarships. And I am telling you a story. It's not a story. It's a life incident that happened to one Jennifer, a scientist who studied in MIT. Is there anyone who doesn't know MIT? That is the ranked one, no, sorry, if I am not mistaken. So in MIT, what the American citizen Jennifer, though she is African origin. And I am sorry to say this, it's not because I am talking racism, because it was a study conducted by one Lisa D. Cook with respect to the gender and racial discrimination. So in this study, she takes the story of Jennifer, and it is not very old, a 2014 incident, where Jennifer could find a position for PhD. What she says, and I quote, she reported being told 100 times as a woman she did not deserve to be there in man's field. Then, and she was actively advising her professors and mentors to change her majors and leave the department, otherwise leave the department. Because it is, if it is life science, if it is biotechnology, okay, you are good, but the moment we go to physics, the moment we go to engineering, another hard subject is not a fit area for you. So this discrimination is taking place even in MIT. There is ample literature available on this. If you search on the website, you need not have any what you call software to do this, because a random Google search also will lead you to many articles on this particular aspect. Now, having said this, I told you after PG and UG where you have more girls, and when you come to the other disciplines or other higher education, the number is actually very less. So, I have the studies from the entire world, only with the exception to Cuba, it shows that women patent less compared to men. And again, the chances of getting a patent application is rejected is more if the woman is a lead applicant. So this was an astonishing information for me, but I could find minimum 3 literature to this effect, wherein the research was conducted by National Science Federation of US itself. So it is not by a private agency. The National Science Federation of US has conducted this study. So then you can see that the other information that we have discussed with you right now, I have taken from WIPO itself. So it is a reliable information which makes it to the again. And you can again see this. Here again, I am taking you away from the patent and innovation system, just to show you that it is not only happening in intellectual property or innovation and creativity or patenting. Is there anywhere? See the Nobel Prize you see, you can see 16.3% only women participation who gets Nobel Prizes. If it is chemistry, it becomes 4.1, physics 4%, in medicine of course it is 90. But still you know that when we talk about gender equality, mainstreaming of women, actually this number should go. Now when we look at, you have identified the lack of education, the lack of opportunity as the reasons why this gender gap exists. And I am adding little more to this. So you can say that the underemployment of women. Because I told you they only have a UG or they have a PG, they don't have a doctorate. Even if they try to get some a degree, sometimes they are discriminated, they are sidelined. Even I could find from the literature that the institution, the organization itself is not happy to make them the first inventor. And if it is a private organization, even there is a feeling that if a woman is leading the team, even the sponsorship will be very less. And you can see that the government, the payment will be equal. You just cannot make a less payment for women. It should be equal. But the moment we get into the private sector, in 79% cases, the women scientists and researchers are paid lesser than their male counterparts for the same work and the equal work that they are doing. And the salary gap is wider the moment you come into physical science. And then I could also see that I told you educating the women is very important. So again the survey and the reports and literature or multiple studies show that if the mother is educated, if the mother is in innovation field or the child is surrounded in a family wherein they talk about or they do innovation or something related to knowledge and all other things, there is a high probability that the idea that you were referring to, the thought and imagination that you were referring to, this power of innovation that we are talking about, that naturally comes into the child. So there is higher chances that if the family is educated, the child is also getting into the process of innovation and patenting. And you can see that in India, not only in India but other countries also, the work environment wherein the scientists, women scientists work is not women friendly. And it also shows that when they have to go and present their innovation in a fair or in an experimental thing, they are not giving equal chances to women because they are not highlighting the contribution of women. And again, as I told you, only 5% in a data that we could find from India wherein the lead inventor is women. And you can also see that when you compare the publishing chance, I was asking publishing or patent that should happen first. And the trick was that patent is based on novelty. So you can see that even if some organizations are ready to give name to the women scientists in the publication, in an article, but still even in that case, they are not ready to confer the authorship of the invention or the inventorship to the particular women. So we can see that another data I am going to show you. When we talk about the women leadership, do you think that leadership is important for women empowerment and women emancipation?
Yes.
Sir was showing you a particular slide wherein he was talking about entrepreneurs, the leaders, the secretaries. So I could see that now who is the Jamia Millia University's Vice Chancellor? Is it a man or a woman? It is a woman. She is okay. So you have a woman vice. What about JNU? Huh? You have a woman. And if my knowledge is correct, for the first time in JNU, you got a woman vice chancellor. For the first time in Jamia, you got a woman vice chancellor. So we need to wait 100 years to give the some women entrepreneurship or leadership to women. And you can see that only 3% of women vice chancellors. So data is not with respect to private universities. I find that private universities are more ready to give leadership to women than the government universities. So in government, both state and central, only 3% are there as women leaders. And on the lighter side, I was reading another literature wherein I could find that in all the interviews, who is sitting in the interview? You have a male board or a male dominated board who is not ready to give positions in lab, assistant professorship or anything that related to the teaching and research to women because they prefer, you don't have a little women representation on the board and they prefer what to give it to the male students. And if you tell me that it might be a job, I myself is a victim of that, I will say. When I applied for my first government job, it was a central government job I applied, and I applied there as an assistant professor. Of course, I got the job. The 7-member board was there, and only one person was there, or one lady was there. It was none other than Justice Rumapal of the Supreme Court. She was sitting at that time. So the moment I landed there, they did not ask me anything about law. The first question was whether you are married or not. So I said, my biodata talks about this, I am unmarried. Okay, so you have no plan, because by that time I was 27. So they found I am overage to get married. I am talking about 2005. So then they said, you have no plans to marry. I said, yes, I have plans to marry. But my mother told me that I should get a government job, then only I can get married. I stupidly said this also. So then they said, okay, so if we will offer this job, then you have a government job, you will proceed for marriage, then you will go for maternity leave. They told it on my face. Of course, I was a young girl at that time. I had no ready-made answer in my mind to counter. I just sat like this because I never expected this response from this. An answer came readily from Rumapal. So Rumapal said, I have seen on her biodata. So if you are giving job, 3 posts are there. Giving job to anybody, she will be my valuable. The answer came from her and she stood like a rock. I never knew her, of course, it was matter of luck that she was there. She stood like a rock, and because of a lady, I was admitted in the job. Though the other, and with due respect to the all male persons, I don't want to name all of them. They are very, the moment I take the name, you know all of them, because they all are famous. So what I feel genuinely is, if in the board, if in the leadership, you have women, definitely they will give you support. And taking the women to leadership, key position, technical position is very important in India to give more representation and more visibility to women in intellectual property rights, especially in innovation and patenting. So now, worldwide initiative, if you see, you can see that Philippines, after Cuba it was Philippines, they have a massive program wherein government support and give technical and legal advice to all women inventors. Free of course. The same thing happens with the pro bono program in USPTO, in Mexico, Latin America, wherein 13 countries come together. They share their best practices, wherein women can be attracted more into inventions, innovation and patenting. India also 80% fees reduction for women patent applicants, and we also have the women scientist scheme. The government has introduced it. Though I told you even with that it is 6% women participation, that we find. So of course we can see that in Asia Pacific region also, in African regions also, even European Patent Office, they have devised many schemes with the help of WIPO, so that intellectual property rights awareness can be given to women, opportunities can be given to women, IPR skill can be instilled in women, and their participation in innovation and creativity is achieving more. So the first question I asked is, what is meant by imbalance? So if you could appreciate that, if you could understand that there is imbalance which is very visible and pertinent, we need to rethink, revise and reconsider how this imbalance can be undone. So I told you, if you ask me a single answer from me, I will tell you it can be undone only by properly educating them to the higher education. So if there is a financial problem in the house and both brother and sister, parents have to contribute money or give money, I don't want the answer from you, but I ask everyone to think. I am not asking about the social stigma. In your family, your parents should give money to daughter and son to do a PhD, because there is no scholarship. Now you have to save 5 lakhs rupees, and only the father and mother has 5 lakhs rupees. Both son and daughter wants to do PhD. In your family, you don't give me answer. Your parents will give it to son or will give it to daughter. All of you think answer in your mind, you don't give me answer. It is only to make you think. So whether we require an attitudinal change, because in many families we see that anyway she has to send in marriage, why we need to educate them, preferably the sons should be educated. But I have seen now a change in the trend that earlier the sons were treated only, the sons will take care of the parents, but we know that the girls have come forward and they readily take up the responsibility even after marriage. So I should salute all those husbands who permit the wives even to take the in-laws to the home and take care. So it have support of the father, the husband, the son, then only we can educate properly, we can actually make them financially independent, give them opportunity and encourage them into innovation and creativity. So, by concluding, I will conclude with a quotation that we have borrowed from Vico. Vico says, what we need is a collective will. I cannot make change. Dr. Sudhir Pachar cannot make change. Sitting all students, handsome and beautiful students sitting right in front of me cannot make changes. What we need is collective will. So it says, when we work together and combine our knowledge, resources and passion, we can create powerful synergies that will break down barriers, imbalances and open doors for women in innovation and leadership for our collective benefit. With this, I stop here. Thank you so much. I am open for questions now.
Audience, any question?
Thank you.
Yes? Aishwarya?
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your delightful and insightful remarks. As we celebrate the IPR Day, let us remember that intellectual property rights are not just important for individual creators, but for the society as a whole. By protecting these rights, we encourage innovation and creativity, which ultimately benefits us all. Now, I would like to request Dr. Nishatran Raj Bhimani, Faculty Coordinator, MAIMS IPR Center, to kindly present a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Ritika, for inviting me to propose a formal vote of thanks. So I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Sudhir Pachar. Sir has addressed impactfully on the topic of in pursuit of better understanding of the IPR to better use of the level of playing fields of trade and commerce, dedicated this theme to the theme of the year, and that is IP and women. So you highlighted the invention and innovation brought up in the field of IPR through women. The significant invention which you highlighted were smart wheelchair with self-cleaning device, the role of women in the field of biotechnology, the removal of cataract, and many more inventions were highlighted by your address. So, your address was really impactful and the best answer to the question of our director ma'am, that what has been invented so far by women in the field of IPR. Further, I would like to convey my special thanks to Professor Dr. Lisa Pidofos for imparting a beautiful and energetic talk on powering change, women in innovation and creativity, where we focused on the important issues, global gender gap, literacy rate and opportunity for women, gender inequality index, GII, with the help of recent statistics through industry centers like ISRO, Infosys and etc. It was a productive deliberation on this topic and I hope the students must have benefited out of it. I further extend my thanks to Director Ma'am, Dr. Maharaja, who highlighted the issue of non-recognition of women in the field of IPR, and that was the, though it was a beginning, but yes, it has given a relevance to this celebration. In the last but not least, the words of our Director Ma'am, no event is successful without the keen efforts of our students. So I request the dignitaries to kindly give certificates to our OC team in order to recognize their efforts for making this program a wonderful success. Ritika Bansal, please come forward. So first there is Ritika Bansal. Please come. Ritika Bansal. Next is Vidhi Gupta. A big round of applause, please, all of you. Siddharth. Next we have Himanshu Ahuja. The next we have Akanksha Mishra. Pawan Malhotra. Come fast, please. Pawan Malhotra. Yakshita Sharma. And the last is Manan Kanotia. So these 11 student team worked really hard day and night to make this event a great success. A big round of applause please, all of you. Thank you so much, and yes, big round of applause for participants too. Like since yesterday you have been sitting with us and enjoying these beautiful sessions on IPR.